I usually do give each student a number. Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Now, Harold Smith has a degree in thermomechanical engineering from the University of South Carolina. Did a stint in the naval aviation in Pensacola, Florida after college. Moved back to Virginia to work at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office for the next 34 years. So we have some colleagues here. They can see what happens after you graduate. He's an instrument-rated private pilot, though not currently active. Spends lots of time on long-distance cruises on sailing and power vessels. Tough business. And fourth-year volunteering with Reset. He's been at Barrett and Camelot elementary schools in Virginia. So, Harold?
So, I guess it would be...
Yeah, let's do that so I get you videoed with your PowerPoint.
So, at the two schools that I've worked at, Barrett in Arlington and Camelot in Fairfax, we do 6 labs, and they're all the same but for one. Barrett had floating and sinking, and I do magnetism at Camelot. But I do this at both of them, electricity and circuits. And I have 2 electrical, I'm mechanical engineer, but of course we all have to have some basic knowledge of electrical stuff. So it works out fine because, I don't know that much, so it's easier for me to teach 4th graders. So I do batteries. They make, with the fruit. We have one lab that does that. And this sort of builds on that, because of some of the same concepts. So we do electricity and circuits. And this is the only lab that I actually just use all the school materials. I don't know if that's how common that is, but both of these schools have the same setups. They have batteries, circuit stuff. They have wires, and batteries, and clamps, and switches, and bulbs. So I picked some of those ingredients, and we put them in little kits, and we pair up the students, and we give them out to them. But before we do that, I have a little thing I go through, like most of my labs, and of course I try to be quick because you lose them real fast. So, well, we start out with the glossary. Then I'll just punch them all in here.
The down.
Oh, yeah. So we have the glossary, and these words, some of them they've heard before. The current, when they do the battery, current and voltage, conductor. And I have wires in the class, so they see the conductor and the insulator. And they're pretty sharp. But somebody blurted out when I said, "What's an insulator?" and somebody said, "Plastic or rubber." So, I don't know where they get that at school, but they're pretty sharp with a lot of this stuff. And the conductor they knew. So we go through this pretty quick, and then we start talking about the simple circuits. When we talk about electricity that can hurt you, and electricity battery circuits that are not dangerous. And I have a bag of I don't usually bring stuff that I hold up and show and let them pass around. And I was going to bring it here, but we had a little mix-up, and I don't have them, but I think you know what this stuff looks like. But anyway, I show them a simple electrical circuit, and they think about circle and how electricity has to go into circles. They know that pretty much from the batteries. And then we talk about series and parallel, and we've already done this. And when we first did it with the battery class, they're pretty glazed over. But I think it's good because you put a seed in there, and the teachers have told me this over and over again. If I say, "Boy, I saw some blank stares," and they'll say, "That's all right, they're going to hear it again, and it's going to help them next time." So when we talk about the batteries the first time, they don't really do series and parallel, but this time they're going to build them. So we put it up there, and I mostly just explain how in the series you have to connect the plus to the minus, the parallel, the plus to the plus, the positive to the positive. And if you do it the other way, it's not going to work. So then I pull out I got a computer motherboard, and I take that out, and they seem to be fascinated by that. They always think it looks like a city. And I show them where it's got a big old heat sink, and I take it apart. They like to take things apart when you take them apart. Take apart a vacuum in one class, and they like that, at least according to their feedback. So I take that off, and I show them, you pull the chip out and show them the chip. And they're pretty interested in that. They want to see it, you know, they want to get closer and see it. So, and then I have some parts of a house circuit, the wire, the box, the big circuit breaker, and we go through what's behind the walls, you know, and how they put your house together so you end up with electricity. So, you know, it's just a quick couple minutes. And then I start to brief them on what they're going to be doing. And so we have, I thought it'd be easier for you all to see here than me holding the pieces up. But we've got the battery, a holder in each kit. We've got a switch and a lamp holder and a lamp and 3 wires. And they're going to get more stuff. They're going to get another battery, another couple wires, but I don't put it in with this or it just confuses them a little more. They got too much stuff. You know how that works. Got too many parts.
Is that too dark?
Yes.
Okay. So we go through. This is what the stuff they're going to have in their kits. And again, they're going to work in pairs, which I like to do. It seems to work out nicely. Although the downside is sometimes one student takes over, and you can see them. The other one's kind of sitting there watching. But it usually works well. One's making one part, another's making another, and saying, no, don't put it there. It's supposed to go like this. I took some things for granted when I first started doing this, and the teacher said, I don't think you better get a little more detailed about how you put the wires in these things. You know, because I just assume, oh, you just put it down, stick it in there, you know. So I have to go, it's helpful to have the overhead, where the projector, so I turn that on, and they can see how you have to squeeze these little things and get the wire through the opening so it'll clamp down. Because one of the big problems is, you know, when their circuits don't work, it's usually there's no contact somewhere. But I show them how to get it in that little contact thing, and they still, you know, there's still a bunch of them that don't, you know, once they get it, they go, how does that go? But they, you know, they improvise. They wrap the wire around tight, you know, because they know that it has to be tight, it has to be making contact. They all know that by now. Whoops. What did I do here?
Looks like you right-clicked by accident.
Well, I'll right-click. Whoops. Here. Right. Okay, so then I show them this is what they're going to build. And then we talk about, there's the loop. It's just like that other picture. So show them how to do that. There's the switch. Keep the switch open till you build your circuit. And then I tell them, once you do that and your light bulb works, if your light bulb doesn't work, you raise your hand and we'll come over. And this is where it'd be nice to have maybe a couple extra people. Because, you know, we had 13 pairs of students. And a lot of hands go up. And the teachers help, and there's a teacher's helper there. And they help, but then they come over and say, I don't know why that thing doesn't work. Would you go over and help them out? So it would be good to have a couple more. But anyway, so once they get the light going, they will go get another battery and a holder and 2 wires that are bulk of the class. They run up and get those. They come back and they put an extra battery on. And surprisingly, the last couple classes, pretty much once they got their single circuit working, nobody said they had a problem with the second ones. So then they do a series. And of course, here they learn this in the battery class. When you hook them up a certain way, it's twice the voltage and the light's brighter. And when you hook them up in parallel, it should be about the same, but the batteries would last twice as long, supposedly. So here they see the light get brighter, and that gets them excited for some reason. They see the light get brighter. And then what they want to do, the ones that finish early, and I always try to have something extra stuff because they work at different speeds. You all know that some of them are twice as fast as others. So it's good to have some filler so the other students can do something. So I used to let them go up and get more batteries, but then they start burning the bulbs out because they put 6 batteries, and they go, look how bright it is, and they burn the bulbs out. So now we just let them get more bulbs and hook them up also in series and parallel, see what the difference is. And then we leave a little time at the end, and they tell us what problems they had, what anything, observations they did they do anything different, try something else. And it seems to work. They always try other stuff. Especially when we make batteries, they do all kinds of weird stuff. But with the circuits they do, they connect them. Usually they connect them so that they don't work anymore. But sometimes, they'll put lots of them out in parallel. And let's see, what are the things that I've learned? Other things that I've learned from this. I guess I mentioned about always have extra stuff to do because they work at such different speeds, and they'll have people sit there and we're done, So working in pairs does well, and it's always good. I always try to build on the stuff previously or get something in their heads before the class, because they seem when something rings a bell, they've heard it and they didn't understand it, but it seems to go better that way. Okay.
Questions for Harold?
What was your age group?
Oh, they're 4th, 8, 9, I guess. What did you say?
Fourth grade.
Yeah. Oh, but I did it with 3rd graders at Barrett, and some have more trouble than others. Sometimes it's the whole class is, as the class is, some are more advanced than others, and others you got to mix within the class.
What preparation do the teachers do?
The teachers put the box in the pod.
As far as maybe classroom, do they talk about batteries or electricity before?
Before.
Yeah.
Some of them have covered related things. None of them have built the circuits with the equipment yet.
But like the terminology, at least have they at least covered that before?
Not usually. No. It usually starts with the battery lab when they first hear this stuff. But there's a little bit of electrical. Well, they all know something about electrical. I'm not sure where they get it.
Harold, thank you very much for the presentation. I thought this was a really great experiment, especially since I've tried the same thing with Dr. Harold Charlin's old folks home, retirement home that he lived. This is the founder of RESA, actually.
Yeah.
He still gives experiments to folks, only the ones that he lives with now in his retirement community. And they just eat it up, like they freak out over this. And so I can understand 3rd and 4th graders probably love it too. I wanted to know if there were any tools that you had to utilize, or was this all just...
Oh, good question. I have to have wire cutters there to strip wires. I mean, they can go get another wire in the bag, but we strip them. I used to like to they like to do that. They want to do it.
Sure.
And I let them do it, and they would just keep breaking the wires. So we went through a lot of wire, and then I go up there, and they go, wow, after you strip the wires.
But the contacts and everything, they just clamp down. You don't have to...
Yeah, don't need any, no tools or anything. It's a little, these things bend, the contacts, you bend down, stick the wire in and release it. It's supposed to clamp it, and they get bent, so they're sloppy, loose. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong, which is good because, they have to figure this stuff out why it's not working. And that's why when I go to the box first to put the kits together, I don't test the stuff. Let them find out that the lamps burn down. We go through, what could go wrong with the circuit.
Okay, for trivia, anybody know what those clips are called? What those little clampy things are called?
You know?
I do. This is an extra thing you can teach. The guy who invented them, his name is Fahrenstock. F-A-H-R-E-N stock, Fahrenstock. And he invented those clips. And you're absolutely correct. They are not intuitive to use. And you really do need to take the time to show the kids how to push them down, to insert the wire into the loop and then let go, and that's what causes that's what allows the connection. You also have to tell them how to take the wires out, because otherwise they'll just pull the wires out, and again, you lose a lot of wires that way. That's a good piece of trivia. Fahrenstock. Fahrenstock.
Oh, that's the name of it.
That's the name of the clip, and that's the guy who invented them.
Okay.
I have a lot of useless information.
So I
Not
have,
useful.
I have a question and a comment. So my question is, so I've taught this but to adults, not kids, and I always have the problem of them basically short-circuiting the batteries. Do you find yourself going through a lot of batteries, or do the kids just seem to more intuitively get it?
Oh, they know, we go through the battery and repeat it here, they know that there's got to be a load. So you have to have a load as power supply and conductors in this circuit. So I keep saying that over and over again. So they know you have to have that. And then I say, if you don't have the load, it's going to get hot. And they know about that too. I'm not sure where that's, but they know, heat up these things.
I squared R losses, right?
Pardon me?
I squared R losses. Did that in
I
the circuit.
squared R losses.
It's
Oh, right.
resistance.
Yeah.
And then my comment is, so you can buy these, well, you used to be able to buy these like super cheap flashlights at the dollar store that are really great for you